on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another preview stream. We have got Crystal Palace away tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff at Selhurst Park, which is going to be a very difficult game. There's no two ways about it. How are you feeling coming into this one, Brian?
This is I don't know if you feel like this. This is one game on the fixture list that I hate. I always dread going to Selhurst Park. The stadium is an incredible atmosphere, but we notoriously don't do too well there. So this game concerns me because of the ground, not because plus our current form. But yeah, this game is one of those that I look out for with fear.
Yeah, and they seem to be going really well since Patrick Vieira joined the club. They implemented maybe a new brand of football. Yep. They've got really good attacking players on the pitch, which we'll get into a bit later. And it's a game that we usually struggle in as well, which we'll get into the head-to-head in a bit. But when you're looking at the form of the two teams coming into it, Crystal Palace at home, they've won 2 out of their last 5, drawn 2 and lost 1. When you're looking at, that's pretty much identical to our away form. 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw. Well, they've got the extra draw, we've got the extra loss. But they're always a strong outfit at home at Selhurst Park. They've scored 7 in their last 5. They've conceded 9, where we've conceded 8 in our last 5 and scored 11. When you're looking at the two forms of these two teams coming into it, what do you make out of this encounter?
Like you said, it's very, very similar, isn't it? It's very similar. What I will say, like you said, Patrick Vieira has done a wonderful job. He came in where the age of that squad was quite old. Completely different brand of football under Roy Hodgson. Come in, got the age down, brought in some quality, brought in some youth, got them playing a different brand of football, and has done well for them. The form is very, very similar. Obviously, I'm a lot more confident seeing the goals scored and goals against and seeing that we're better in each department. Considerably in the goals scored, most importantly. So there's some optimism there. There's something to cling on to, but we know that losing and on Wednesday in the manner we did and having to come back from 2-0 down against Brentford the way we did, it's concerning. But
yeah, and we can't afford to let ourselves slip in this game, because a game like this, when we slip in, they've really got the quality that they can hurt us on the counter with Zaha, with Eze, with Elise, who's really starting to announce himself in the season now. I mean, those the last 5 games, the last home form stats has actually got some friendlies involved in it. So when you're actually looking in the Premier League, what they've done in the last 5 games in the Premier League, it's actually at home is 3 wins and 2 losses, with those losses coming just now against Fulham and against Chelsea when they played them about 5 games ago. So the last 3 wins at Selhurst Park has been 1-0 against Southampton, 2-1 against Wolves and 2-1 against Leeds. When you're looking at the teams that we've played away from home, we've drawn 2-2 against Brentford. We've beaten Bournemouth 3-2. We've lost to Manchester United 2-0, beaten Brighton 1-0, and lost to Arsenal 3-1. So out of those games, 5 of them we've gone 2-0 down in. 4 of them we've gone 2-0 down in.
Yeah,
and we just cannot afford to do that again in this game.
It's a deep concern. It does seem to be a thing, and obviously with the way tensions are at the moment, if we go 1-0 down, this could be a big disaster on and off the pitch. This defence is a concern that we've had the Dyer in the centre, without Romero obviously, but you and me were saying about having Romero, Longley, Davies. We tried that didn't work, although Romero looked incredible in the first half. It's a conundrum we're going to have to sort, because the defence aren't just cutting it, are they? It's a regular theme that we're going down. Normally, apart from Villa, we have a second half to try and claw it back. Whereas obviously we know what happened with Villa, so it's I just don't know. I think one thing we can be assured is we will concede, unfortunately, and the stats back it up.
It's actually mad to think that the last time we went to Selhurst Park was Nuno's first loss as Spurs manager.
Yeah.
How mad is that?
After 3 wins, that game, and what's his name, Tanganga got sent off, didn't he? After an incredible game against Manchester City. But with or without that red card, we weren't the best that day, and Palace were up for it. But it is mad when you say that, isn't it? That's how quick this time has gone round. Yeah,
it's mental to think about it. When you're looking at the head-to-head between the clubs, I mean, Selhurst Park is always a stadium that we've struggled
Yep.
in. We haven't won there since 2018. We lost 3-0 there, like I was talking about Nuno's first loss last time. We've drawn 1-1 the 2 previous times, and the game before that we lost 2-0.
Yep.
The last time we won there was that 1-0 when Juan Foyth, I think it was,
In the
scored
final minutes.
in the final minutes of the game. And, you know, we had tight games there as well when
Yep.
Christian Eriksen scored in the final minutes to make it 1-0. There was a period of time, actually, where we beat them 1-0 about 5 or 6 times on the bounce, but it's all gone a bit wrong at Selhurst Park since then. But what is it about that ground? What is it about this team that we always struggle against?
So the thing you got to look at, the 3-0 last season is the only one with Vieira. So obviously it's that different brand of football. Roy Hodgson, you were always going to be tight, wasn't it? Disciplined and very, very defensive. That ground, no matter, whenever you see them on Sky or watch them on Match of the Day or whatever platform you're watching it on, that stadium is always rocking. There's that one corner that obviously are the ringleaders in everything, and that stadium don't quit. That stadium literally is non-stop singing and chanting. It's one of those old stadiums as well, isn't it? So the atmosphere is generated on a Wednesday night under the lights in the cold. It's going to be rocking again. It's going to be rocketing again, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But that's one of the stadiums that like I said at the beginning, I just dread going to.
Well, you'll definitely be going there tomorrow night.
Yep.
There's going to be a very intense atmosphere, that's for sure. And Conte has been speaking in his press conference. He's talking about the team news, the injury news. Bentancur is most likely, well, he is definitely going to be out. He says he's going to be out for this game, Portsmouth game, and hopefully trying to recover him for the North London derby. Kulusevski is an interesting one because he said that, where was it on Kulusevski? I don't know if he can face Palace. We have today and tomorrow to check his situation. We'll see. The injury is not serious. If the player gives his availability, then he could play. Otherwise, we have to wait and have patience for the next game. So it seems as though Kulusevski is just round the corner. We just don't know if this game is going to come a bit too soon for him. But I imagine that he will take some part in the Portsmouth game and then be fit and firing for the North London derby.
Yeah, I mean, with Kulusevski with this, I'm a little bit torn between the middle because it's like we desperately know how desperate we need him to play and what a vital part of this squad is. But we also know what's been going on with the medical team, and if we rush him back, could he do something that could aggravate it? And obviously then put him out of Portsmouth, and most importantly, the Arsenal game. As much as I think we need him tomorrow, I really do think we need him tomorrow. If you're asking me to choose between playing tomorrow and risking Arsenal and Portsmouth, with Portsmouth being our only chance of real genuine chance of silverware this year, I don't know if it's worth the risk for Palace. But then you look how bad we are without him. I don't know which way to call it.
Maybe it's a case of keeping him on the bench.
Yeah.
And if we really need him, then we can call upon him for the second half, last half an hour or something like that.
There you go. You solved the mystery. That's what we'll do.
When you're looking at the Palace team coming into it, this is the kind of predicted lineup that we have chosen based on their last 2 games. So Guaita in goal for Crystal Palace, Klein right back, Ward left back, Guehi and Anderson in the 2 centre-back positions. And those 2 players are so vital to them. I mean, Guehi, he's a player that's been linked with Spurs for the last year or so. Anderson was linked with Spurs before he went to Palace when he had that good season with Fulham. They are such brilliant players, both of them. I mean, both of them get into our team, right?
Yeah, I personally am a big fan of Guehi's, but I'm a huge fan of Anderson's. I don't know how he's not a Tottenham player. I think it's 2 or 3 times when he was at Sampdoria, when he went to France. Every time he's available, we're obviously strongly linked. And I think if you're looking for, let's say, a natural successor to Jan Vertonghen, it's him.
I would take both, to be honest. I would love both.
I would take both, but I'd take Anderson over Guehi. Guehi's obviously got the English thing to add to a bit more clout to him, but I think Anderson is an incredible defender and would absolutely have loved to see him in a Spurs shirt. And you're right, they are a huge part of why Palace are good.
And if you're looking at our back 3, right, and if we could sign those 2 players, put Anderson instead of Dyer in the middle, put Guehi on the left and Romero on the right, I mean, what a back 3 that would be. That
would be happy goddamn days. Obviously, people want to hear the name Bastoni and everything, but obviously we need to be realistic. As much as I want to see him there and as much as I think we can get him there, we just won't. These 2 are, I would say, obtainable. Anderson has been obtainable. Guehi, obviously, everyone has their price, and same with us and same at Palace. But if we were to sign those two to go alongside Romero, I'd be happy.
With those two centre backs, and obviously Ward and Klein at the back, and Guaita, who's a really good goalkeeper as well, by the way. Son being off form, Kulusevski not being, definitely available. Harry Kane putting in a poor display against Villa in the last game. How do you think our attack stacks up against that defence?
I have no idea. Honestly, if this had been like first game of the season, we'd all say absolutely no problem whatsoever. This is ready to go. Our front three can dominate any back line. But Kane just looks exhausted. He looks absolutely exhausted. Personally, I think he needs a rest. I'd love to see him rested on the bench, like we said with Kulusevski against Portsmouth. I think it's the prime time to do it. Son, let's just, like you said as well. Sorry, I can't excuse because I'm going to talk about Son as well. Kane was shocking against Villa. Son not too far behind him. And obviously without Kulusevski, it could be Brian Hill again, or do they go 3-5-2, sorry, and play just the two and let Kane and Son do what they do? Right now, I think it's very evenly matched, where normally your first game of the season or any given Sunday, you'd say that our front three on fire absolutely smashes this defence to bits.
Would you like to see us go then 3-5-2 tomorrow night?
I think it has to be an option. But also, we were talking about this before, Basuma's out. So then you're looking at a midfield three of Højbjerg, Papa Matasar and Skip, and that's never been tried and tested before. And it looks like Højbjerg and Basuma don't have an understanding as a two. Well, if you're going to play three that have never played together, two very young, that could ask for more trouble.
Yeah, it's very true. And in a midfield of Schlupp and Decore, who I really like Decore. Schlupp, I mean, he always seems to perform against us anyway. He always scores against us, doesn't he, Jeffrey Schlupp? And that's a midfield that I think we don't probably need a midfield three against. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, you look at it. I mean, Schlupp, one thing he is pace and power. He is pure pace and power. We've seen that we've struggled in a two. Well, actually, let me take that back. When we've struggled in a two, it's mainly because they've gone with a three. So 2 for 2, if that had been Højbjerg and Bentancur all day long, if that had been Højbjerg and maybe Basuma, although I don't think them two are there, especially Basuma right now, I think he's way off the pace. You'd think there's there. But this is going to be Højbjerg with either Skip, who were playing well together, but haven't played at all for ages together, or Højbjerg and Sarr, and there's a huge question mark, but it could be, who knows, we could stumble across the right combination. Whilst Bentancur's out. So this midfield battle is going to be very key. Yeah,
it's interesting with Pape Matar. I mean, hasn't had a look in since joining Spurs. Obviously went back to Metz last season. Conte has been very high in praise of him since coming back from the World Cup, since working quite closely with him when a lot of players were gone. He came on against Villa, and I was really impressed with him. He looked like a player well beyond his years. He was keeping things more or less simple, but he looked really aggressive. It looked like he could win the ball back. Didn't look physically overall like Brian Hill did. And it looked like he had a pass on him as well, and he kept the ball ticking away. He did those nice little pass and moves where he would pass it and then run up the pitch and get the ball back with a few nice little interchanges. I mean, when you're comparing him to like a Brian Hill, I mean, physically, they're levels apart, in my opinion. And if you're going to go to a 3-4-3, you can't play Brian Hill at Selhurst Park. I just don't think it works. I mean, we tried it at Villa at home, and he kept getting pinged off the ball. And this team are a much more aggressive team than Aston Villa. You know what I mean? So I think 3-5-2 might be our only option, really, because I don't think Hill will cut it in this game. Yeah, I mean, Brian Hill, let's face it, I've said this before, that I don't think the 3-4-3 works at all, or three up top, shall I say, without Kulusevski. It just simply doesn't work. We've seen it so many times now, unfortunately, and it's been some of our poorest matches attacking-wise when he's not there. Brian Hill keeps getting these opportunities and, again, hasn't taken them. To be fair, though, that is his first start in the Premier League, Brian Hill. It is. But, again, like you said, it's his physicality. And especially at home to Palace. Oh, sorry, away to Palace, but home for them. I would rather go with that 3-5-2. I'd rather go with that 3-5-2 because then at least you've got an experienced Højbjerg and, let's say,
got a lot of minutes. I would also say experienced Skip, because obviously his Tottenham career is stop-start, but there's some insurance there. Going with that 3 up top, I think exposes us and is very could make us weak. And then also, if that happens and Kulusevski isn't on the bench, at least if Brian Hill's on the bench, you have an attacking outlet. Against Villa, there was nothing, was there?
No, not at all. And it was very frustrating.
One thing about Pape as well, Matessar, is at least when you know if he gets his chance, he's going to want to take it. He knows this is my opportunity. I've got a chance here. I need to make a good representation of myself and give the manager some ideas. So this could be an opportunity for him. Yeah,
and if he does get the nod from Conte, first of all, it'll be great for him and in himself for Conte to give you a go in the Premier League to start. I mean, that's a big thing for a young player, especially like Pape Matar, when you're looking at what Jed Spence has to go through and everyone else. I mean, for him to get the nod, that really shows belief in his abilities, because if he's not ready, Conte just won't play him. And that's the facts of the matter. But I think that I would like to see him given a go, to be honest. I really would. But having said that, I would like to see Jed Spence given a go as well.
Do you know what? I was about to say that. If Sarr does get this opportunity, yes, it's good for him, but how on God's green earth, like you just said, does that make Jed Spence feel? I know that will then show this is a club, but if you're giving Pape Matar a run out, yes, midfield's exposed, but we blatantly know how exposed that right wing back option is, and to not give him a start, how is that going to make him feel to see this kid who's been out on loan in France come back, played a few minutes in the World Cup? You've already got in the Premier League. That could do. That could smash Spence's Fragile's confidence that he must be having at the moment to bits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of caught in two ways, because obviously Conte knows who's ready. Conte sees them on the training pitch every single day, and if he sides with giving Pape Matar a go, then maybe that just tells you Sarr is ready and Spence isn't ready. I mean, we have to trust in what he says. He sees them every single day. But I do get the feeling on the other side of that if he just gave him a go, then he would reap the benefits of it, because no one that we're playing at right back is really grabbing that shirt, are they?
Well, what's the worst that can happen? He can get this opportunity and grab it with both hands, and we can be like, hallelujah, we've got an answer. Or it goes terribly wrong, and he's like, told you. So I don't see how Conte loses in this, picking him at right wing back. I don't know how many games we have to do this. Although I must say, Matt Doherty against Brentford I thought was bright and helped create the assist for. And then against Aston Villa, I mean, the whole team apart from Ramo for me were bad. So again, we're focusing on this right wing back, but this is because it's such a problem. But Matt Doherty, I mean, Emerson's not going to play, I don't think at all. I don't think we'll see him again unless real need for it after the rumours of the bust up. But Jed Spence has got to be given it's a win-win, isn't it? It's either you get proven right that he gets
or you get proven wrong and you got another option.
Proven wrong and you got the option and maybe the saviour to that position.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a position where nobody's really grabbing that shirt, I mean, you're completely right. What have you got to lose? But moving up the pitch for Crystal Palace, if you bring that slide up one more time, you've got Jordan Ayew on the right wing, Olise, that's been playing as kind of the number 10, and Eze and Zaha up front. I mean, we'll get into Eze and Zaha in a minute. But what does Jordan Ayew bring to the team? And Olise, in my opinion, I think he has got such a ceiling, this boy. I think he's such a talent. The way he can attack, the pace he has on him, the quality that he has on the end of it as well. I mean, he took quite a bit of time to get into the season with injuries and whatever that he had at the beginning of the season. But I think now, in the last couple of games, you're really starting to see him flourish. And you did see that a couple of times last season as well. So Olise, I think, is a top player, and he'll get a top move at some stage in his career. But what do you make out of that front line?
So Jordan Ayew, you asked. Jordan Ayew brings a lot of running and hardly any goals apart from...
So basically Lucas Moura.
Yeah, but exactly. Basically, he is Crystal Palace's Lucas Moura. But I think he's more direct than Moura. I think at least there's some outlet in him. Moura, you just never know what you're going to get, and this is why I call Moura the Brazilian Darren Huckabee. I agree with you with Olise. I do agree with you. There's another player that we're going to talk about shortly who I think is even better and I think is incredible and wish we would have signed him when we had the opportunity. But they have got a lot of pace, which is another reason to think maybe Jed Spence should be in this starting lineup because they do have pace to burn in this team, and at least they could be a worry.
If you bring up the ones to watch, I mean, it's no surprise who it's going to be. Zaha and Eze. Eze, 3 goals, 3 assists in 16 games this season. Zaha, 6 goals and 2 assists in 15 games this season. I mean, Zaha, he's playing more, or in the last couple of games anyway, more as that number 9 role, right down the middle, causing havoc through the heart of the defence. His contract is up at the end of this season. Is he someone at 30 years of age that we should be looking at?
So the way I look at it when we're just talking about Zaha now, the one thing that worries about him for me tomorrow in the game is this guy is like Jack Grealish, knows how to get a free kick. No, and we are giving needless free kicks away all over the side.
Zaha knows how to put them away. Eze knows how to put them away.
And Zaha knows how to get them.
Yeah.
And is regularly fouled and knows how to play the game, and he is a big danger. On his day, he can rip any team apart. This rumour and speculation with him, with any club, is always there. Obviously, we've been very, very integral in parts, or not integral, but we've been mentioned on, like everyone else, with every player as well, a lot to him. If we were to go and get him, I'd want to get him now to come and say you're coming in January. Not you're here for next season, not on a free. Go and get him, because then you've got a bit more pace, a bit more power, a bit more creativity, which is something we're severely lacking without Kulusevski. He's available on a free. He said he wants moves away throughout the career, hasn't he? After going back.
Every summer it feels like the same conversation, and he always ends up staying.
This season, was it? This season it wasn't so much.
Yeah.
Maybe he really enjoys working under Vieira and a different style of play compared to Hodgson. But if he's available on a free or cheap now because his contract's up, you've got to explore the option. I think there's better players out there, but the way we operate and what we can do, it's something you got to watch. Whereas,
but at 30 years of age, like how much longer at the top does he have at the level he's showing? That's the problem.
Yeah, do you get him who's done it in the Premier League and can perform in the Premier League, or you go by the normal, let's find one for the future. Yes, Kulusevski came off, but then may not have played in the Premier League. Don't know how he's going to put out. Don't know if he'll be able to hack it. Don't know if he'll settle. Whereas all those doubts are gone with Zaha, and you just know, right, doesn't need to learn the language, knows the country, knows the league, and I'd rather take that gamble with a 30-year-old.
Interesting. And Eberechi Eze, a player that we definitely should have got when he was at QPR. I mean, he was tearing up the championship. I think we all could see that he was going to be a really good player and definitely slot into the Premier League. The guy's already 24 years of age. I thought he was a bit younger than that, Eze. But how good has he been for Palace?
He's an incredible player. I am a big fan of this kid, and he's just come back from a severe injury. We saw with that goal that he scored from the halfway line during COVID, where he can run with the ball, take players on. He's got a bit of everything. He is a huge danger. And like you said, this is a player, when we look at the youngsters, that we should have done absolutely everything possible to get him. I think it's a huge opportunity that we missed, and I think he's a wonderful player. I really, really do. I just hope he has a very bad game tomorrow.
Yeah, tell me about it. The one thing about Eze, though, I always thought, or I've thought since he's joined Palace, that he should be getting more goals and assists for the quality that he does have. Albeit, though, this season is looking like it's going to be his best season yet. He's had 3 goals, 3 assists. His best in a Palace shirt was his first season with 4 goals, 6 assists. Okay. So he is definitely adding that this season to his game anyway.
Yeah, he is. Again, I think he came under Hodgson as well, wasn't it? So he was playing under a Hodgson format and style of play. Obviously, Patrick Vieira has a much different style of play, which is agreed with him and suits his natural game. And I just think he is going to get better and better. I am too surprised. I thought he was 22, 23, but he's 24. Turned 24 or?
Turned 24 in June.
Okay. Good month, that is. Good month.
Great month.
Yeah, I think he's a good player. I think he's a wonderful player. And I can just see him going from strength to strength with Vieira.
Yeah. So how do you see the game going? I mean, do you think we're going to be on the front foot? Palace will be on the front foot? How do you see the dynamics of the game going?
I would have said this regardless of our form. And I said at the beginning, the way going to this ground always scares me. I think for me, for this game, the first 15 minutes is literally key, because if we don't get off to a good start, or if we go 1-0 down or anything for other reasons, this will turn very, very quickly. And
I think 1-0 down, I can probably just about get over if we can get back in the game. But 2-0 down against this Palace side, I don't know if there's going to be a way back. To be honest, the way we're playing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to remember where we are. This ground is a ground that a lot of people struggle at. Arsenal in time have had. I mean, last season, remember they lost 3-1 when we were battling for that top 4 spot. They just know how to get the job done against the teams that desperately need the points.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I did against Villa, pray for the win, but I think it'll be a draw.
Score?
Desmond.
2-2.
2-2. Bob Spur has 4-1. I've got 2-2 at the moment.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to go what I went against Brentford, which ended up being a Desmond, but I went for 1-1, and I'm going to go for 1-1. And if it is 1-1, that will make it 3 of the last 4 times at Selhurst Park, all 1-1.
There you go.
But look, let's hope we can grab all 3 points. It really is an important game. Last league game before the North London derby.
Exactly. And then we got the FA Cup, and then surely just get away. I mean, Portsmouth is going to be no easy game. We saw what happened last season with.
They just sacked their manager.
Yeah, the new manager bounce. So yeah, we need to send a warning. So you've got to remember, Arsenal playing Newcastle tonight. That league could be extended. We need to send a message out that this is Tottenham and we aren't out of any top 4 race or whatever. And we need a statement win, a real statement win.
We really do. I mean, I don't even care how it comes. Just get 3 points on the board. I mean, we're more than capable of it. We've got the players to do it. It's just about will the players show the application on the pitch to go out there and get 3 points. When you're looking at the defence, is it the same defence you want to see against Villa start this game again after you've seen them now live in the flesh?
Yeah, so this is a real worry, isn't it? Because you and I spoke about it when we were here this last week, saying I'd be open to seeing Romero, Longley, Davies because of Dyer's mistakes. Well, we got to see it, and it was poor apart from Romero. I don't know how we sort this defence out. But one thing, like you said, he's got what we do have to look at Conte for is he's got to realise that some of these players can't play that formation. It may be need going to a 3-5-2 or a 4-3-3 or so, just offer some variation and try it. I know people say we haven't got the players to do it, but even with the players that we do have to do the job that Conte's asking, we're struggling. So other teams we're going to know how we're going to play. Mixing it up could bamboozle them, and who knows? He could stumble across something. We'll have to wait and see. But that defence, I don't know. I just don't know.
I think I would like to see him persist with the defence that he played against Aston Villa. I mean, they weren't great, but when you're looking at the game, right, first half Villa had nothing. They didn't create nothing against our defence. Second half they were creating quite a bit. I think Longley definitely struggled with the physicality up against Ollie Watkins, and I'm just thinking, like, against that pacey attack, do we have any defenders that can cope with the pace that they've got? I don't know if we do.
Dyer certainly can't.
No.
Longley can't. Davies certainly can't. I don't even want to see Sessegnon at wing back. I mean, since we went to Forest away, and I used to try and stick up for Sessegnon.
The thing is, we've seen Perisic struggle big time against players with pace.
Good.
So look, I think it's very difficult. Obviously, Romero is the only one that really stands out there that can really face up to the challenge. But I would still like to see us persist with the defence of Longley in the middle, Davis on the left, and Romero on the right. And if it doesn't work this game, then we've got big questions to ask for the North London derby.
I was just about to say, that's the thing. This he's got to have his mindset and going, right, with Arsenal coming up, I've got to have my 3 that are going to play with some kind of experience together, some kind of minutes together, so they go into that game, because you can't switch off. You cannot switch off on that game, especially with how good they're being and doing right now. So I think you got a point. He's got to persist persist with the defence that are going to play against Arsenal. But then we'll see.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Dyer is the best option against Arsenal, because let's be honest, I know he's made a lot of mistakes, but in these kind of games, Dyer can actually really perform. And we've seen it before in North London derbies, in games against Man City, in big games for Tottenham. We have seen him perform at those levels.
Yeah, we have. There's no doubt we have. But if he comes back and makes a mistake in that game, or if he makes a mistake tomorrow, if he was to play, then again, I think he's opened himself up for the abuse that will come, and then the question marks even more. It's such a dilemma we're in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Such a dilemma. We had 6 defenders on the bench.
And none of them are good enough.
And none of them, apart from Romero, would you say you would start, if all of us were to say, right, out of the 6 on the bench and the 3 that played, who's your starting 3 centre backs?
I couldn't tell you.
Every single one of us would have Romero as one, and then it'd be like, I don't know. Do I have to pick? So that's the worrying thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's very worrying, and this is why we've been calling for new centre backs for so long.
Centre backs, right wing backs, all of them.
So long. But anyway, that is our match preview. Brian is going for 2-2. I am going for 1-1. Let's get into the Betmate now, as there's a guaranteed £450 up for grabs this week, and it's a split pot, not just for the Tottenham game, but there's another game involved, which is Aston Villa against Wolves. So you get 4 picks from each team. It's £3 entry, and there's a guaranteed prize pool of £450. So if you're new to Betmate, you can also use the promo code WATTV5 to get free £5 as well. But let's get into the teams. I really enjoy this Betmate. It's a fantasy gaming app where we go head to head in a big league. And if you're very used to playing the fantasy football or Premier League FPL, then you'll know how it works. The only difference is really that defensive actions get rewarded with tackles and interceptions. That's what's really good to have players like Pierre-Emerick or Højbjerg and Bentancur, because they're just like bull in a china shop in the middle and get loads of not assists. he actually does get a few goals and assists now this season, Højbjerg, but I'm talking about tackles and interceptions. But let's go and look at Sim's team first. I better get it up on my phone because I can't see it properly from here. Just 1 second, guys. Yeah, so here it is. He's got Emi Martinez in goal. He should be back in goal after his World Cup exploits, obviously at home to Wolves. He's got Mark Guehi in defence with Ivan Perisic, Buendia and Podence in the middle with Harry Kane captain and Wilfried Zaha as vice-captain. So obviously captains are double points and vice-captains are times 1.5. So that's Sim's team. If you go on to my team, then you shall see I've also gone for Emi Martinez in goal. Obviously, we're both thinking Wolves might struggle in front of goal as they usually do. I've got Ivan Perisic and Luka Dean as my defenders. Obviously, Luka Dean and Perisic both play as wing-back and full-back, and both can get you a goal or an assist. I've got Højbjerg as my vice-captain, Douglas Luiz as my captain, as he has been really good since Emre has joined Villa. And I've got Wilfried Zaha and Harry Kane up top. So those are our teams. Let me know if you're going to come and take us on. I'm very much looking forward to this week on Betmate, and we'll see you all then. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this match preview.